Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Josh and Jason Monday Christian and Conspiracy Podcast Show. I am your host, Josh Monday. If you don't know me, I'm a Christian rapper, devoted husband, father, and Army veteran. And I'd like to introduce you to my co-host. He's a Christian, devoted husband, and father. What's up, Jason? How's it going, brother?
Good afternoon, everybody. And sorry, Josh, that you got hacked.
Yeah,
sucks, man. That's not cool, dude. I was talking to Ryan McClain. He texted me. He's all, dude, I'm glad I asked you about this because I was gonna send it out. He goes, he was gonna do it, and I was
everybody. Just so you know, my Instagram got hacked. The Josh Monday Music _ podcast is not me. Somebody took over that account. My new account is Josh Monday _ podcast on Instagram. So if you guys could, if you are down with the show, please follow me because I only got like 100 followers now. Before I had 1,230 or something. So I want to be able to advertise this podcast, and now they took that ability away. Advertise my music, they took that ability away. So guys, please help me out and follow me on Instagram at Josh Monday _ podcast. All right. And I'd like to introduce you guys to our guest. All right. He is a returning guest. Always he's on Mount Crushmore for us, man. Every single time he comes on, he kills it. Kevin Reidler, what's up, brother? How you doing?
Josh, Jason, good to be here, guys. I know following after Gary is a hard act to follow, so do the best I can.
Bro, they're all Gary's okay, and everybody that's Gary's listeners that subscribe, thank you guys. And I do apologize that I was talking over him or finishing his sentences. I re-listened to the podcast. I just want to apologize to all you guys because I get excited. I'm also a fan of Gary as well, so it's hard for me to have someone of that stature in this business on sometimes, and I get really excited. So I do apologize. He'll be on the show on May 8th, and I will make sure that I give him his time and I do be as courteous as I can be. So I just want to say sorry for that, guys.
Well, also it makes you feel good to know that you're on the right track with a mind like that. If you know what he's talking about and you're thinking the same thing that he's thinking, and he's saying the stuff that you obviously already know and studied, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel kind of smart. And it's like, all right, cool. That's
yeah. It was like he was confirming stuff that I studied at the same time. I was like, maybe I was off a little bit because some people were telling me, oh man, I don't know. They told me a lot of stuff, but anyways, I take it in stride. I take corrective criticism and I just run with it. So today, guys, we're going to be going over the Knights of Hospitaller and also the Knights of Malta, which it's the same crew, but we just want to make sure that we say that because it went from Knights of Hospitaller to Knights of Malta. We're going to do our best to just break this down, guys. I want to go over a few Bible verses real quick. I'm going to go over the first verses. It's going to be Matthew 5:34 through 37. And Jesus is speaking here. Okay, guys. So this is important. So if you have ears, I need you to hear. Jesus says, "But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, nor is the city of the great king, nor shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black, but let your yes be yes, or your no be no, for whatever is more than these is from the evil one." So guys, when you are joining these type of organizations, when you're joining Freemasons, when you are swearing by oaths, when you're joining the Knights of Malta, you are swearing by oaths, okay? I don't care if they tell you this is the best Christian organization and we're going to feed the poor for the next 80 years. Okay, guys, when you're swearing by oaths, Jesus says, do not do this. Okay, guys, swear by nothing. Okay, guys, because you could never always accomplish what you swear by in some ways. So you don't swear to God. Don't do anything like that. Okay, guys. And then Kevin has a verse to go through, and I don't know if Jason has one as well.
John 18:20, Jesus answered him, "I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue and in the temple, whether the Jews always resort, and in secret I have said nothing."
Okay, perfect. Yes, let's go. And then we had Luke something, right? Was that another one? Or did you just do, you said you did John and there was like Luke, you said something, Luke, another one.
Luke 8:17. I know you guys have said this in previous podcasts.
It's all good.
For nothing in secret that
Yes.
shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
There we go. Now,
come to light.
If we said any verse in another podcast, it doesn't matter because we're going to keep saying the verses because we want you guys to get it down because you can't always, you know what I mean? Like you might not have got it last time, so you get it this time. What's up,
And
Jason?
also, if you're swearing an oath, and with that hand on that Bible, you're swearing an oath to God, and God expects you to uphold the oath. And if you're doing it in vain, it's not a good thing to do. And if you're doing it knowing that you're not just worshiping one, you're worshiping something else as well, you're in a lot of trouble, man. You're being lukewarm. You're not being hot nor cold. So there's a lot of things against this stuff. And not only that, it's just everything in secrecy that's going on with these things. It's not right to be doing this stuff, and the rituals that they do and everything like that I'm learning about, because I never studied the Knights of Malta. I've heard about them through the Jesuits and stuff like that, but I went on a big old rabbit hole because my brother I told him today, I was like, this is not very interesting to me. And then I got into it and I was like, oh, okay. This is why it's interesting to him.
This is insanely interesting to me. I love it. I love it.
I started tying it in with things like, I started tying it biblically through the way you learn the dark arts of this world, because those things weren't meant for us to learn, and they learned them, and they teach them down, just like how Christianity is passed down to, you teach them in your homes, teach your son, you teach your daughters about God and Jesus Christ, and the Bible. They also teach their little ones about the different side of it, the other type of worships, the polytheism that Gary Wayne was talking about. And it's
Gnosticism too. That's another thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Gnosticism for sure.
When you're teaching these things, they know things way more than we do. Their information is way more than this. I started looking in the book of Enoch about things. I started going into the book of Daniel about stuff like the Magi and everything like that, the magicians, the sorcerers. Start tying them in together. The Chaldeans and the Babylon, that goes all the way back to Nimrod. So if you think about it, all this stuff was passed on all the way down because Nimrod had direct knowledge of God. He knew God existed, and he still went against him. He was a great grandson of Noah. So
yeah,
So
and I will get to a part. It's my bad. I'll get to a part actually where I talk about somebody that are using those dark arts that actually got into the Knights of Malta at one point. So, all right. So we'll do the intro real quick, guys. All right. So the Knights of Malta, it's a Catholic lay religious order, traditionally of a military, chivalric, and noble nature. There is a side that is Catholic that answers to the Pope, and then there's a side that's Protestant that answers to Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, those are the two people that they say they answer to. But as we listen to, Gary Wayne and Amy Says WTF and all these people about the Black Nobility, we understand that there's people above the Pope and obviously Queen Elizabeth. So we got to remember that Pope Francis, there's the white Pope, right, which is Pope Francis right now. And then we have the Black Pope, which is Arturo Sosa, okay, who is the head of the Jesuits. And they both answer to the gray Pope, which is Pepe Orsini. Okay, guys. So as you're listening to what we're talking about, you got to understand that there's Black nobility families that are above all the people that they say they answer to, that are actually been running this stuff for years, paying for wars between the Knights Templar and the Muslims, and also paying for wars on both sides. Even the Romans were paying both sides between the Knights of Hospitaller or Knights of Malta versus the Muslim people. So they were financing both sides, guys. So I'm just letting you guys know, and I'm going to go through some of these families really quick for you guys, so that if you want to do further research, there's some names that you can kind of dig into, guys. Okay. So I just want to let you know that these are papal Black nobility bloodlines. So these are going to be more like, from Rome, right? Italy. So we got the House of Borgia, the House of Breakspear, House of Samoglia, the House of Orsini, the House of Colonna, the House of Farnese, the House of Medici, the House of Chingi, House of Conti. And also we got the House of Aldobrandini. That's Aldobrandini, and House of Est also. So if you guys want to look into those bloodlines, if you want to get a little deeper, and dig into those. I would suggest you do. It's really, you just kind of just start looking. You could find out the ancestry. You could find out exactly where they came from, and it kind of helps. And you can see where they intermingled, where they became more powerful. You're going to see all the popes that have been in line, from the Orsini family, the Colonna family, the Borgia family had like 3 popes. There's a bunch of stuff. So these are like the Black Nobility Brotherhood, papal bloodlines. Those are some. Okay, I'm not telling you that those are all. I'm not saying that that there's those are all of them. Then you guys might leave in the comment section like, hey, those are not all of them, these are the other ones. So yeah, leave in the comments and let people know what to study. That's just the ones that I looked into. Just like the rest of the secret dealings going on with the Jesuits, the Knights Templars, and the Knights of Hospitaller, they all answer to these Black Nobility papal bloodlines in my research. Okay, guys. And it's pretty interesting stuff. So
Did you even breathe right there, bro? Did you even take a breath right there? Because
no, I was like Ace Ventura. That
was good. Even to get into the Knights of Malta, even now you have to have a blood relation going back.
Nobility.
Yep.
Of nobility. Yep. Yes.
Yep. Nobility. Correct. Yep.
Yeah. So that's how it's got to be, man. And we're gonna see as we go through. Now they actually changed that rule. As you're gonna see, there's gonna be a lot of people at the top that are gonna be noble, but you're gonna see, as I'm gonna name some people that are in like Washington D.C., America, that are parts of Knights of Malta. Now there's, like Kevin was saying,
once you get to a certain level,
you gotta have that nobility. You gotta be able to back it up. You gotta show what family you came from. You gotta have a coat of arms. That's the thing, which is interesting. Okay, so the Knights of Hospitaller, they started in 1048 AD. Okay. So let me just pull it up real quick. My notes. Knights of there we go. So the founder was Blessed Gerard. Okay, he was like a black monk. What they were doing is there was a hospital in Jerusalem that was dedicated to John the Baptist. They were they were actually literally like a humanitarian. They were providing care for the sick, the poor, the injured pilgrims in the Holy Land. So they started out as legit, I think, humanitarian aid. They were trying to help people in Jerusalem, the motherland. And what was happening is a lot of people were traveling to Jerusalem so that they could walk where Jesus walked. They wanted to look for like the relics. They wanted to see they wanted to try to find the cross that Jesus died on. For some reason, they felt like they have to do that type of stuff to be forgiven for their sins. A lot of people were doing that. And you kind of see that in even now, where people have the Mother Mary held up in this big statue and people want to touch it as it goes by, or they want to touch the Pope's shirt, or they want to do stuff like that, or not his shirt, but his robe. They do that type of stuff. They were doing that even back then. Okay. A lot of religious people were going to the Holy Land, but there was also like the Crusades going on. So there was fighting going on and all that stuff. Okay. So they were trying to literally help people in the very beginning. That guy, Blessed Gerard, was actually like he was like a monk, he wasn't like a warrior knight ready to fight. He was just like, he was more like softer, but he became like the top of the order of Knights Templar. I'm sorry, of the Knights of Malta. Okay. So by like 1113, the Pope actually chartered the organization. So they actually turned them into actual organization. Okay. And if you want to jump in at any time, Kevin, I know you probably have some stuff too. Do you have anything between 1048?
No, those are the dates that I've researched as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure. So if I'm going through and anything changes. So basically they were in the Kingdom of Jerusalem. They were headquartered in the Kingdom of Jerusalem until about 1291. Like I said, back then the Christians were traveling there to try to walk the Holy Land. Now by like 1312, the Knights Templar was disbanded. Okay. So, and some researchers that I've listened to, and also I've researched, say that the Knights of Malta could have had a little bit of involvement in that, because I guess they benefited financially by that happening. Okay. There was something that happened in 1188 that Gary mentioned. I'm sorry, I didn't say that, but where it was called the cutting of the elm. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but he mentioned that briefly, and I didn't understand what it was. But what it is, so that you hard researchers know, that was when the Knights Templar and the Priory of Ceylon, they split up. Okay, so that was like the French splitting up from the Knights Templar. So that happened there. So that was what the cutting of the elm is. That was in 1188 AD. So we have the Knights Templar. They disbanded in 1312. All right. So what happened is the Knights of Hospitaller, they went from being like hospital humanitarian aid to actually becoming a military order. Okay, so they weren't just helping people in hospitals anymore. Now they were actually knights fighting battles. They were going against Muslims. It was like the main people they were going through. They have something where they will not go against another Christian. Okay, they will not raise their sword to another Christian. So if they're in an area that Christians came to come and fight against them, they will not raise their sword to them. So they have this chivalry of not doing that, which is like, I guess out of respect, probably for the Lord or for God, which is awesome. But I don't think they should.
I was doing some studies, Josh, that there's a lot of like what do they call that? Megalithic structures that were there in like 3600 BC. Then when the Knights of Malta went over there, they were noblemen. They were like kind of like how the Freemasons were. They knew how to build their own places to live. They were making like very big structures. And the reason why the Mediterranean they were located there is because it was a great place for a spot to control the Mediterranean. There was three islands.
That's Malta though, right? Yeah. We'll get there.
And Camino,
we'll get to the Malta part in one sec, because I got to still go through the roads, which is one of the places that they went through. So they travel. I'm just gonna do it real quick, Jay, and you can finish that what you were gonna say right there. Hold that sentence. So they moved the order from Cyprus, then they moved into the island of Rhodes. From there, from 1310 to 1522. So now they're on the island of Rhodes. From there, they were defeated by the Sultan Salaman. The order was forced to leave Rhodes and was attempted. There was two attempts on them fighting. So they were fighting against the Ottoman Empire. And then the first siege happened in 1480, but another one happened in 1522. So they were forced to move to what Jason is talking about, which is going to be the island of Malta. Okay. So go ahead, Jason.
I feel like they were forced. I feel like it was a strategic move to go there, because that's it's a main place to basically take over the Mediterranean, to basically run the territory around there. You have they were very, very strategic for control over the Mediterranean naval military. I was looking up some stuff about their Maltese cross. Like, what's up with their involvement? Every one of these societies, organizations is involved with the Catholic Church. They all have that iron cross, a form of it, red and white. But does that have something to do with the Red Cross as well? That's there today. That they have today? Does that have something to do with the same thing that they run through that? Or because
it's interesting how England and the Switzerland, a lot of these flags and coat of arms are very similar. But anyways, the Knights of Malta, they took that design for the 8-pointed cross. Supposedly, what they say is that it was on the 8 Beatitudes that Jesus spoke on the Sermon of the Mount, and that's what they claim.
Oh wow.
But
that's a pretty strong claim right there.
It is a strong claim.
I like that that, Kevin. I love it, dude. Stuff like that is perfect, man. So the way they got to Malta was the approval of Pope Clement and Emperor Charles V. Okay, they ended up giving them permission for them to move to Malta. So that's how it happened. Okay, so
they have their hands in the Christian and the Catholic side, right? So
they have Protestant and they have Catholic. So Protestant are like the Knights of Malta, Sovereign Order of Jerusalem, right? That's what that is. That's
not only a political game and not only a religious game. That's financial game. They have their hands,
bro,
in a lot of stuff. And it's not only just they think it's if that's why they didn't want Protestants to run rampant. Okay, so how do I know that they believe in the same Protestant God and Jesus Christ that I do? How do I know they just don't use Jesus Christ as a front and then they do their little dirty deeds behind the closed doors. You know what I mean? Like kind of like the Magi used to do. And what is that? What was that? Like they would have like a church up here, and then they have a church.
Oh, that was like Constantine, where they would have a regular church up here, then they'd have a Mithra church underneath, right?
Right.
So yeah, same type of deal. When we get a little further in, like for example, Manuel Pinto de Fonseca, when they were on the island of Malta, he was the Grand Master of the Order of St. John until his death in 1741. He was the one that was taking up these buildings that you're talking about, Jason. He took many of the building projects, introduced the Barquet style throughout Malta, right? So what happened with this gentleman is he actually he was involved in what is it called? Expelling the Jesuits from Malta. That's one thing he did, which I was kind of interested. It was kind of interesting because what he was saying is the Jesuits are like the CIA. They would sneak into Malta. They were finding out how the people were thinking about this gentleman, Manuel Pinto de Fonseca. And then I guess they were kind of agreeing with him, because what was happening with this gentleman is he was doing all this money for all these building projects, and the cost of the projects were contributing to like them going bankrupt. He just kept on printing all these coins that has his like anytime they did some type of building or something that was positive, he was printing all these coins up. So the people were kind of going against him. So the thing about, you were talking about like some of the dark arts that kind of got involved with the Knights of Malta. There was a guy, his name is Allesandro Cagliostro. They have movies about this gentleman. He went into Malta, told them he was born of a noble family, which it's the Balsamo family. And when he went onto the Malta island, he was actually practicing black magic, practicing the Jewish Kabbalah, black magic from Babylon, Egyptian Freemasonry. So much that Aleister Crowley actually said that he's a reincarnated version of him. So this gentleman was a straight chemistry and an alchemist, and he got with Pinto. And they were doing alchemy together and learning black magic and stuff like that. So this is this type of stuff that happened.
That's why when I studied this, dude, I started going back into the Chaldeans and started going back into the actual, like the fallen angels.
Right.
Because if you go through it, this is what it says. They taught humans about enchantments, how to break the enchantments, how to beautify your face, beautify the women, how to
make weapons,
metals, and how to use precious metals and stones for war and for selling and stuff like that. But alchemy is a study of changing. Using the table of elements and changing them sometimes, taking an inanimate object, putting a demon spirit something in that and making it alive. And they were practicing stuff like that. And you start getting into stuff like that. These are things that were not meant for us to learn. Okay. This is stuff that was, and it's not even the tip of the iceberg that God even knows. These are little baby things that were taught to us, that we, made the deal with these guys and with these watcher angels. They made this, what I believe made.
Well, yeah. And all these secret societies, Jason, too, they really do go back to the mystery schools. Yeah. Which go all the way back to, like you said, to Nimrod, the fallen angels. So
like mind control, like you were talking about Aleister Crowley, like that Taft school that we were talking about a couple months ago with Janet.
Tavistock.
Yeah, Tavistock. Yeah. They learn this stuff, how to, break a person, break them down. But if it like Skull and Bones, you know what I mean? Like at Yale, you take certain people, you raise them to be a certain way. These people are going to be this way. They're going to be bred to do this, and you teach them about what about that side. You can never go back. Once you learn this stuff, you can't just forget it. You can't be like, okay, well, oh my gosh, magic. People think that Disney and magic and like, oh man, I see this wizards and stuff. No, this stuff is in the Bible, speaking about it way before Disney came out with it, way before bed knobs and broomsticks, bro. Witches and stuff like that exist. Wizards,
sorcerers, witches. They talk about it all through the Bible. Go ahead,
but
Kevin. What's up?
They can only do so much, and that's why that like people that were Christians and in the Bible had the faith and guys like Elijah, you know, men like prophets like those guys. They're like, okay, you guys know how to, you know, change a little bit of the weather, but here's this, here's fire.
Remember King Saul going to the witch of Endor.
Yeah.
You know,
she was even surprised when she saw was it Samuel, when she brought back what's his name back, and she was like, what the heck? She didn't know that because usually she's bringing back a demon that helps her out. This was a straight, you know, like, hey, prophet. Why are you waking me up right now? Oh, I just got a question, you know, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, and that's if you want to get into that type of stuff, read the Bible. You don't need to turn on the Disney Channel and watch Onward and see a bunch of, you know, fairies and stuff like that, because the stuff that they were doing in in Noah's day, they were defiling animals. They were doing things like that. They were trying to change DNA to basically cloud the bloodline to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And when I speak about, like, you know, the blood curse of Jehoiachin and stuff like that, or Jeconiah, I think his name is, that stuff was like really going down. Like they were trying to be so bad. Satan was trying to get man to be so bad to make God just go, forget it. This is not going to happen. But that's why you have Jesus Christ. You have the virgin birth and stuff like that. And these people, they know that Jesus is real. They know that God is real. They know this stuff.
Yeah.
They'll choose that side because they get it. That's the flesh side. They get to learn these things and get rich and make money and control people. It's like, it's weird. It's crazy. It's very crazy.
Like Josh says, these organizations too, like the Knights of Malta, I mean, they live by works. They're, you know, they want to show themselves doing good things in the light, but in secret, they're doing, you know, really bad stuff.
That's how every single one of these, that's how the Freemasons are. That's how all of them are, man. They all like a work-based religion that they go to heaven by works. Even when they have their funeral, they're talking about works. You know, they're not talking about being saved by grace through faith, not by works, so no man shall boast. But, you know, we know
they also were saying that when you joined the Knights of Malta and you went to war and you fought, they said that all your sins would be forgiven.
That's it. That's what they say. Yeah, that's what they say. Or Knights of Malta, or if you join the crusade, or any of that, if you die on the battlefield, your sins are going to be forgiven. So even people today, when because I was in the army, people would say, you know, hey, he was in the army, he died for this country, he went to heaven, but that's not necessarily true. If you die for this country, it doesn't mean. Now, Jesus does say there's no greater love than laying your life down for a friend, but he doesn't say that if you die for your friend, you're going to go to heaven for sure. Yeah, you got to still believe. You still got some things to do to get there. But okay, so we'll finish this out. Okay, so Malta, I thought that was kind of an interesting thing. There's a lot of if you guys kind of go through each Grand Master of the Order of St. John, you guys can look through each one. It's very interesting. You can look through their ancestry. That's another thing I would say to go deep on. If I was at work this whole week, I would have went way deeper into that. But so they were basically in Malta till 1798. Okay, what happened is there was a French invasion of Malta, which was it's kind of interesting. It's Napoleon that went into Malta. Okay, the reason why I say that's interesting is and they ended up going in and then they took them out of Malta. All right, because they're Christian. Basically, what happened is they said, hey, there's some Christians on the battlefield, so we don't want to fight against these Christians. We don't raise our sword to Christians. So what they did is they said they ordered them out, but so they ended up going to Rome after that. They headquartered into Rome, and they've been there since 1834. The interesting thing about Napoleon is when we were studying the Jesuits, okay, what they said is that he kind of got really good with the Jesuits, and then something had happened. Okay, so they say that he got poisoned by the Jesuits. That is something that is a conspiracy. I don't know if it's 100%, but it's kind of interesting that he ended up going into Malta, and then boom. He ended up, a little while later, when he died, he got poisoned. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right.
We got that. So then, so they were headquartered in Rome, right? And they got this. I mean, if you look at the building they have, it's just freaking looks marble, beautiful, right? So, and then in 1927, they installed an American branch in New York by Pope Pius XI. Okay, so that is kind of the history of like where they were at. There was so many battles, guys, that these gentlemen, I'm going to tell you right now, man, they're no joke, man. They had, there's a Battle of Hayton, Siege of Jerusalem, Battle of Arsuf, Battle of Las Navallas de Tortosa, fall of Craig des Chevaliers, Fall of Tripoli, Siege of Acre, Battle of Kosovo, Nicholas, Siege of Rhodes, Battle of Provenza, Invasion of Gaza, Siege of Tripoli, Battle of. There's all these different battles.
Inquisitions, bro. These are all Inquisitions.
These people are a straight chivalric order. These guys were knights fighting 8,000 to 100,000 sometimes, and they were defending it for 3 or 4 days. These guys are no joke. I just want to say they're like special forces. They had a navy that was. They had one of the best navies in the world at one time. So because they were kicking butt and they were also getting their butt kicked. Okay, at the same time, just so you guys know. But these are notable battles they went through. So this is not just some little hospitaller hanging out at a hospital, hanging out, taking care of people. Okay, this is like they're battling and fighting and against Muslims, and people are coming in from sultans and dude, it was real stuff. So I just want to let you guys know that. I don't want you guys to think that they're just some soft religious organization.
Yeah, there was one battle there. There was like 70 knights and 300 soldiers that fought off like 40,000 Turks.
Yeah,
the Ottoman Empire.
Yeah, Suleiman.
Yeah,
so I just want to let you guys know that these are like, I was in the military, so I respect that part. You know what I mean? But there's some stuff that when you look into it, it's just like, what the heck is going on with these people? So I just want to let you guys know now. Okay, let's bring it up to now. Okay, we got an American branch. We got people all over the world that are involved in the Knights of Malta. Kevin, do you want to kind of go a little bit into some stuff, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going. You're on a roll.
Okay, so now the order maintains diplomatic relations with 112 countries. Okay, they enter into treaties. They issue their own passports, coins, postage stamps. They also have something called the diplomatic pouch, where if they're going somewhere, then people can't look into that pouch. I don't understand how they have that, but it's like real secretive traveling, stuff like that. So this is why the Knights of Malta, this is why like CIA, groups like that want to join the Knights of Malta, because once you become a member, and let's say you're a full-fledged member and you're able to do this type of stuff, why do you think on movies when there's a guy that's a double agent gets these passports printed for him or made for him? That's the type of organization you need to be in for this to happen. On the movie, they're not going to say the Knights of Malta did it, but look, they can make their own diplomatic passports, but they have no land. This is just like an organization with 13,500 knights, okay, that is, they're able to have, they're just like a country, but they're not a country. So it's the Freemasons. I mean, there's some crazy stuff we could get into with the Freemasons, but they don't have this type of power. So the Knights of Malta is not like something to play with. This is very interesting, okay? So the order has 13,500 knights, dames, and auxiliary members. A few dozen of these are professed religious. And so they have. So back in the 1990s, the highest classes of membership, including officers, required proof of noble lineage. That's what Kevin was talking about. More recently, a path was created for the knights and dames of the lower class, to whom the proof of ristic lineage is not required, to be specifically elevated to higher class. The highest class, making the eligible for office in the order. So
yeah, that's like the Elk Lodge, bro. That's like one of those guys with those funny hats. That's like stuff like that. Yeah, come on in, man. You guys can have some fundraisers over at Gary's. You're not learning the stuff that we know. Okay.
The reason why this is created is not for that. That's funny, but that's more the Freemason
that's
stuff.
What I'm saying. You get the
this is created. Why do you think they created this? They created this for CIA or for like MI6, for them to be able to join something like this. Double agents, people that are like maybe Jesuits, like, hey, I want to send you over here, over there. Like this stuff that's secretive that nobody knows about. Now the Knights of Malta, you don't hear about them every day. You have to dig and dig and dig. Boom, listen to Gary Wayne, listen to this podcast, start digging. Oh crap, Knights of Malta, let's see what they're about. It took me like.
Didn't Ronald Reagan mention them in a speech?
Ronald Reagan did a speech at the Knights of Malta, bro, in 1989. He actually did a speech. He went up there. So you have him. There's a lot of people I'd like to go into that are actually part of this. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was trying to look for leaders and people who are actually high up there that are actually.
I got a lot of them. I'm going to name all of them.
Handshaking dudes. Yeah, but
not all of them, but.
Well, Ronald Reagan, he was an actor.
Joseph Kennedy, bro. Joseph Kennedy was part of the Knights of Malta. Okay, I'm gonna name a whole bunch of them. I want to let Kevin speak a little bit because I don't want to be hogging the mic, man. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was shocked too that their annual budget is in the billions too.
Yeah.
And that's just what's on paper. So,
Yes.
they have lots and lots of money. That's for sure.
They have lots of money, lots of power. Now, when I was doing some research, I see that they're okay. Now, I can't obviously tell you this is 100% correct, but through the research I've done, it looks like they're at the higher end of the York Rite Freemasonship. Okay. That's probably the Protestant side, because if you look at who the top of the York Rite Freemasons is the Duke of York, which would be Prince Andrew. Okay. Obviously they do answer to the Queen. The Queen has the Order of Garter. They say that, like the 33-degree Masons, what do they sing? All hail the Queen, right? So there's that. So it's like at the very tippity top of the York Rite. So it's different than the Scottish Rite. The Scottish Rite has 33 degrees. That's one side, but there's the York Rite Freemasonry. And they say that the Knights of Malta is way at the top. And then above that, they say the Knights Templar. So this is just some research we did. I can't confirm that. Obviously, they're not going to be able to look that up on Google. It's going to have to be like some stuff.
Say that.
Yeah. You have to look into it to really find it. But I thought it was very interesting.
Above that, Satan.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
The top dog around here. Google will put you right through there, dude.
Yeah. So now Gary Wayne told me that the Freemasons were in charge of politics and also like the army. So as I name some of these people off that were involved in the Knights of Malta, that are in the Knights of Malta or were previously in Knights of Malta, you're going to see a pattern here with mostly the American and stuff like that. You're going to see that there's a lot of politicians and a lot of ex-military or generals or stuff like that. But I have a bunch that I can go over, man. I don't know if you guys are ready for this. Kevin, do you have?
Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead.
Do you have any names or anybody that you've kind of heard were involved, or anything that you can name while I'm looking to say? I have notes I got to pull up real quick.
Not current names. No, I mean, just, I know the Rothschild family going back,
Yeah.
But as far as I don't know anybody current. No.
Okay. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to pull this up. This
Jason
actually
Bourne.
came. Yeah. Jason Bourne is definitely a current member.
Because the front is on this thing is like, okay, it's just like a little club that you could join. It's kind of, like I said, it's kind of like it's kind of like you go there and it's a bunch of guys hanging out talking about, their politics, like the Freemasons. I know a couple guys, like people like, a couple lower level guys. Josh, remember that? Like,
yep, I do. I don't
go talk about
don't even,
like they have
I don't even
camaraderie,
Yeah, I don't even want to name their names.
I'm
Yeah,
not gonna name
talk
their names,
about
but saying like, how they are. They have their little rings, they have their little things that go on. They're like, oh, we just go talk about this and that and stuff like that. But these are guys, you're talking about the guys that are like presidents, kings, leaders. Who knows who's part of this stuff? This stuff could be, who knows how deep, and who knows, because people change their names. I remember talking to Gary Wayne, and he's not the only guy that has, like, I've been researching, but you're talking like societies that are like so secret that are like, you go out on this stuff, you're done. They're gonna, like, rituals where, like, because I remember they were talking about how they would I think the Skull and Bones would dress up like popes and something else. I forgot what it was. The devil and Pope.
a fake child sacrifice. Yeah.
And not even that. How do I know they don't go set themselves in a coffin with dipped themselves in blood on
they they do go in a coffin, and they actually they masturbate and they tell each other their most darkest secrets.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
it's weird stuff.
Yes, that is some weird. That stuff is like, it's. I don't know how to say it, but
it's demonic.
You're getting, yes,
it's demonic, bro.
Yes. So you could say you're a Protestant, but what's your real faith in? What do you really, just because you say you're Protestant and won't raise your hand against a Protestant doesn't mean that you won't go and hire the Jesuit form that love.
So I think what it is like the Queen Elizabeth has the Church of England, right? So that's like a Protestant church, and then the Pope has, obviously the Catholic religion, right? So those are like the two people that the normal person that doesn't do any research at all would just think, hey, well, the Queen's a good person, she's a humanitarian, and she's doing great, and that's her church, Protestant church. Now we have the Pope over here. He's a great dude. He's doing all this good stuff. He's a humanitarian. We got the Catholic religion. But listen,
we left England to go worship the way we wanted to, not worship the day they wanted us to, because this is all this is just the higher ups would be going to but
like,
didn't the Jesuits kick them the Knights of Malta off their island for a little while, or didn't they like
they kicked the Jesuits, they expelled the Jesuits out, bro.
so they expelled the Jesuits, but then they get them back? Then they wasn't what was that French lady that got beheaded? She was part of something. I can't remember her name. I can't man.
Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, they said that
That was during the French Revolution.
Yeah, to get these people back, they started going through, and when the Jesuits started coming back, they went and said, "Okay, Malta, you guys mess with us, we're gonna punish you. The Habsburgs, we're gonna punish you for messing with us." But how come they're all involved with the Catholic Church? How come they're all involved? What is
the answer to that church? You know the answer to that, Jason.
I know the answer to that, but you gotta think what is going on. They all have this. You gotta think when didn't the Knights of Malta help Hitler come into office?
Well, there's things that were behind the scenes. I'll get into that too. So let me go with some of the higher authorities of the Knights of Malta, like the people that you guys can, if you guys want to research these people, look into them. There was King Juan Carlos of Spain. He's the ex-king of Spain. Okay, he was actually the king of Jerusalem status. That's what he had. He's from the Bourbon family. We have the Grand Duke Henry of Luxembourg, Karl von Habsburg, which is somebody you guys have heard probably from our previous podcast, King Philippe of Belgium, Queen Paula of Belgium, Queen Beatrix of Netherlands, Vitro Emmanuel Savoy, Prince of Naples, Duke Franz of Bavaria, Prince Carlos of Bourbon Parma, which is the Bourbon family again. Obviously, we had, Prince Philip also was part of this. Okay, he was, which is going to be Queen Elizabeth's ex-husband. He passed away now.
He was like 2,000 years old.
Yeah. So he was 100 before his 100th birthday. He passed away. We have
how old is Queen Elizabeth? She's
about 96. I looked that up too.
She's still cracking the whip, man. She's still sharp as heck.
Yes, and guys, what I would do these people that I'm naming, what I would want you to do is, if you want to, look up these names, because what they're gonna say is like Duke Franz of Bavaria, right? But when you look up his name and you look up his ancestry, you're gonna see that he's a Habsburg, Lorraine, Hesse, Bourbon, Saxon Gotha. Like, you're gonna see that they're intermarrying. And then they have these people. What they do is they just put where they're from, because they don't want you to follow these bloodlines.
They change the names.
Yes, they don't want you to follow the bloodlines. So I've been looking at these people. It makes you go kind of cuckoo, because you're just like searching and searching and searching. And you're like, oh my gosh. But that's what I suggest you guys do if you want to research these families. This is probably what Gary Wayne does. This is probably what Amy says WTF was doing when she was doing podcasts.
And email Gary, because he'll send you that stuff for free.
Yes, for sure. So we got Prince Jamie, Count of Bardi, obviously Queen Elizabeth II. She was also the queen of the island of Malta between 1964 and 1974. So I thought that was kind of interesting. She's the one that is running the Protestant branch called the Order of St. John. And then we have the Bollock of Baldenberg, Order of St. John, also related to the Knights of Malta. It's ran by Prince Oscar Hohenzollern of Prussia. Okay, so what we have also, I would like to go over some of the American type of stuff that are in. So we have William F. Buckley Jr. was a Knight of Malta, conservative political commentator for the U.S. Pat Buchanan is another conservative political commentator, Knights of Malta. Peter Grace was an American businessman, politician, member of the Council of National Policy, Knight of Malta. A Nazi vice Chandler Franz von Papen was a Knight of Malta. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the only officially known president of the United States, and also was a 32-degree Mason, if I'm not mistaken. I think, or that was Rosen. That was probably, oh, never mind. I think he was just, Dwight D. Eisenhower was the only officially known president of the United States that was a Knight of Malta. Joseph E. Smits, Inspector General for the Department of Defense under George W. Bush. George Tenet, Leon Panetta, Michael Morrell, David Paredes, Jeff Vernon. The Jesuit order was established by the Farnese family under Pope Paul II. I'm just trying to kind of go through these notes. I'm sorry.
What, do you have any recent people? Does anybody like? Are they just like trying to keep that stuff hush hush now?
No, the people that I'm kind of naming are like from the 2015, 2016 range. The reason why is because that's just what I got up to. I honestly, I don't have the time to, now what you could do if you want to do it is you go up to, just Google, Knights of Malta members, and there's a list of them, right? But my whole point to this, guys, okay, my whole point to the people that I'm naming, like let's say Prince Philip, okay, for example, that was married to Queen Elizabeth, okay. Now, right now, what they're claiming the Knights of Malta are is a humanitarian, which they do, not to take away from what they do, because they do have thousands of people employed by them. They're actually are feeding the poor. You're doing all this, but the people that are up there high up, like Prince Philip, or what he said before he passed away is, I hope I come back as a virus so that way I could take out people are part of the population. He started the World Wildlife Foundation, right? And him and another guy that was at Bilderberg, and that is to save the animals. So that's like a humanitarian thing to do, charity. But then he's out hunting tigers and killing them and stuff. So he is not a humanitarian, is what I want to say. Bill Gates, he's not a humanitarian. He's out there acting like one, but then he's, jabbing people and they're ended up passing away, giving people multiple sclerosis, but he claims to be a humanitarian. What's up, Jason?
Well, if you think about it this way, if you're super rich and you have a lot of money, okay, and you're putting your money into these organizations, these charities, you own the charity. You're washing your own money, dude. That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. That money is going right back to them. They don't give a crap about the endangered lion or endangered. They don't care. These dudes are hunting kids, man. These guys go out there and have hunting parties for children, bro. Do you think they give a crap about the world? They own most of the world. They own most of the land. The reason why they're trying to preserve it is because they want to, when they all, when everybody, probably when they wipe everybody out, they want to have a wonderful place to live for the rest of their life, like their own little Garden of Eden, stuff like that. But the thing is that the charities that they're doing, they're not doing anything good for them, because all they're doing is putting the money right back in their pocket. They don't care about saving a dang thing. If they did, they would give all their money to a real organization like homeless, saving is, giving it to people that actually need it. Who cares about the animals? Really? No, it doesn't say in the Bible the earth needs to be saved. The earth needs to be held above human race. No, it doesn't say that, because what you're doing is that you're making people think that they need to save something that
they worship they worship the created instead of the creator.
Yes,
also, in the Bible, it says there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. So you don't want to be concentrating on saving this earth, because it's going to be wiped out anyway. So all that stuff.
If the dodo bird got wiped out, it's the dodo bird's fault. Okay. It's people hunting it to an extinction. That's it. That's the thing and stuff like that. But it doesn't affect anything else. Like it says in the Bible, the birds of the air don't care what they eat. They don't care what they know where to go. They know where to fly every year. They know where to go at all times. They know what they have basic faith in because they're going to be fed. We're the only animal on this planet that worries what we're going to eat the next day, that worries what we're going to wear the next day, that worries what we're going to drive the next day, what worries what we're going to get paid from the next day. That's it. That's our problem, because we don't need to worry about that. We need to worry about going to hell and making these things like this.
So I was going to say, so Jason has a good point. Kevin, do you want to get kind of in a little bit into, like, I know there's like, they're involved in the Kennedy assassination, they say, because they also helped start the CIA. Alan Dulles was part of the Knights of Malta. He was a CIA director when Kennedy got killed. There's kind of some good conspiracy stuff there. Bush. George Bush was actually like he was not the director of the CIA, but he was part of the CIA, like a higher up.
This is all new to me. I'm learning.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So I mostly know a lot more about the older history of the Knights of Malta. So all this current stuff is.
If you want to go over some of that too, man.
It's all good, man. You've gone over. You guys are on a roll.
I'm just trying to. So I want to tell you guys also to look up the journalist Seymour M. Hirsch. Okay, he uncovered a lot about the higher up military members that were part of the Knights of Malta, because, like I said, man, you can do all this humanitarian stuff, which is great. You're probably trying to do all that stuff so that you wave, you got people looking over here. They're like, hey, this is a good charity group, and that's all they're doing. That way they never look over here what the right hand is doing, right? So what they're doing, man, they're war hungry. They say that the Knights of Malta were part of Blackwater, which were the people that were in Iraq, the civilian company. They're basically civilian soldiers that were going in and fighting. So there's some researchers are saying that they were making the passports for these gentlemen, and they were kind of helping them, assisting them in Iraq. Some people might say, hey, what's the big deal? That they're fighting for America, but you got to think about it. If we were in America and Iraq was sending civilian Iraqis over here, driving Humvees around, shooting Americans and killing Americans, do you think that we would allow that in America? Heck no. So when there's civilian contractors hired by the military that are civilians over there fighting and killing against Iraq soldiers, that's kind of strange, guys. Look into Blackwater. It's very interesting, but you see the type of people that want to join the Knights of Malta are ones that want to be able to get those passports and be able to move through countries without being diplomatic and moving into a country, doing these secretive activities and stuff like that.
I don't think that you're just wanting to do that. I think you're brought up that way. You're like, like you said, they're bloodlines. They take certain people. They're not just picking, they're not going to pick Kevin, me, and you and say, hey, you guys are now going to be the Knights of Malta, and you guys are going to, be basically James Bond. No, these guys are, as young kids, probably sent to the school of Tavistock, whatever it is, and just
Tavistock Institute.
Yeah, just basically just beaten just beaten down to an extent like the Jesuits do. Take away their identity. Make them all dress the same.
Definitely for the higher levels, Jason, getting into these secret societies, once you get to a certain level, it's kind of like Freemasonry, where anybody could pretty much go to be a Freemason, but most 99% of people will not make it above the first 3 levels of Freemasonry.
Yes,
and that's a fact.
That's definitely a fact. It's like trying to make it as in the rap industry, like only like 1% be able to make it in the industry and be at the top and make the millions. But then the other people just are like me. Just rapping for
what are you willing to do?
Jump change.
Like you said, it's like it's almost like they're picked at an early age. They're groomed at an early age.
What are you willing to do? Are you willing to sell your soul? Are you willing to do whatever it is to get to the next level? Maybe that might be it, because a lot of things they're worshiping Lucifer, man. They think they're worshiping the good part of the light, the light bearer, but it doesn't matter. When Lucifer fell, he's not Lucifer no more. He's an adversary. He is not, he could care less. He thinks all we are talking monkeys. That's what he thinks that we are. He does not care about us. He's the one who basically, he tried to make a deal with us, and he reneged on it and screwed us over, basically. And we as man, we followed it. I mean, well, Adam followed it because of love, but he went to the woman because he knows that she was more vulnerable to basically fall for whatever his little
being deceived
were. Yeah.
But now the man seems like they're more easily deceived.
Because
the women are the ones that are, man, bro, I'm telling you, the women are strong in the church right now, bro. I'm telling you, the man is getting,
I know that.
I know why, but okay.
Yeah, you know why? Because they planned it that way to take away the man out of the world. Because look at it, man.
I know.
Right now, you get it too, Josh. I get it too. My wife is more of wanting to be the leader of the house, and be more. And it's like,
I know
that to somebody. It's not. It's when you do that to the man of the house. I'm not like I said again. I'm not saying the woman is not important. She's very important, very important. But she wasn't made to be that way. God made her to be our helper. Okay,
we're supposed I agree.
To love them as they love the church, and they're supposed to, give us the reins of everything. And no matter what even if it's wrong, they got to stand by us. Like Tammy, or was it Tammy Wynette? Stand by your man. Well,
it's kind of like, okay, we're supposed to be the spiritual leader, but let me get back to this real quick. So We have so this is straight out of the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry and its Kindred Sciences. It's by Albert G. Mackey. Okay, it says this is talking about the Knights of Hospitaller and the Knights of Malta. This order, which at various times in the progress of its history received the names of Knights Hospitallers, Knights of St. John of Jerusalem, Knights of Rhodes, and lastly, Knights of Malta, was one of the most important of the religious and military orders of knighthood, which sprang into existence during the Crusades, which were instituted for the recovery of the Holy Land. It owes its origin to the Hospitallers of Jerusalem, that holy, religious, and charitable order that is established in Jerusalem in 1048 by pious merchants of Amalfi for the succor poor and distressed Latin pilgrims. Okay, this organization of the order in its day of prosperity was very complicated, partaking in both monarchical and republican character. Overall, preceded a Jared Master who, although invested who extensive powers, was still controlled by the legislative action of the general chapter. It says here in the that there's two bodies, which we already know about, the Catholic and Protestant. It also says the decree of Knights of Malta is conferred in the United States as an appendant order in the commentary of Knights Templar. There's a ritual attached to the degree, but very few are in possession of it, and is generally communicated after the candidate of has been created a Knights Templar. What I'm saying, that is the York Rite side of Freemasonry. Okay, that's why I was telling you guys that. And that's straight out of the Albert Mackey encyclopedia. He also said the Knights of Malta are the militia of the Pope and are sworn to total obedience by a blood oath, which is taken extremely seriously and to the death. The Pope, as the head of the Vatican, is also the head of foreign national power. Okay, this is straight out of the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry. A 33-degree Mason published it, and this looks like it was written in 1925. So you guys can look that up. I thought that was pretty interesting that he said that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that blood oath, you should, and tell your listeners they got to go read that. It's pretty heavy.
Yes, it is. And you're doing a blood oath, guys. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, man, you're a Christian organization, humanitarian. And guys, like I said, we're not trying to take away the good that they do. It's just there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes, the wars, paying for wars on one side, people dying, all the crusades.
Have you guys seen the YouTube? It's current too, within the last couple of years, where a reporter, she asked what's the Black Pope? What's his name? The current guy?
Sosa. Last name is Sosa.
Yeah, she asked him about that Jesuit oath.
Yeah.
He got caught off guard, man. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It was like it's like you got caught cheating on your wife. It's like she had a videotape, all that stuff. He's like, what?
He was ready.
What are you talking about? Let me read this.
Oh, man.
He's like, what?
He's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Babies. We don't do that. No.
Yeah.
We don't do that here. No. Get her out of here. She probably got lit up. Dude.
He started reading it to him. Like, do you guys take this oath still?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we do.
He was acting like he had no idea, dude. But yeah, that's the Jesuit side of things, and that's right. It's just crazy. But
who teaches them how to subvert a country by flooding it with their basically an inquisition? You either force them to be part of your religion or they die. Okay, so that's what they were doing to the Muslims. They went to the Muslims, and these people were defending their home. Okay, they weren't just like going and Muslims were coming over like, okay, we're going to try to wipe out the Christians. No, it was like they weren't doing it for Jesus Christ and for God. They were doing it for a total different reason. It's more money, more land, more everything to make everybody a one religion. They were probably trying to do this stuff. The New World Order back in the day,
bro. It's been here. It's been here. But I wanted to go, Jason. I remember you were talking about the World War II. So what it is the order and its members have been proven to be linked with the Rat Run, the post-World War II escape route used by high-ranking Nazis and death camp scientists from defeated Germany to the Americas. Sovereign Knight of Malta passports were issued with false identities that allowed escape for prosecution for war crimes. We already went over on our Jesuit timeline, this type of stuff happening. The Jesuits, because you got to understand, Mussolini was in Italy, bro. He was part of the Nazis. Mussolini, Stalin, and Hitler. Okay, guys.
The Iron Cross. That's the same thing as basically the same thing as a Maltese cross. The same thing as the Knights Templar cross. Their cross looks nothing like the cross of Calvary. Okay, there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the cross of Calvary is the cross is the way it is because God. I don't want to get into it, but there's a reason it's that way. And their way is like Constantine saw it. It was like, oh, saw it in a dream. And we're gonna throw this on our shields and we're gonna win this war.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah, for sure. It's crazy.
But Hitler had that cross, and so if you're gonna be
and right now you can see it in Ukraine too, bro. You're gonna see like them wearing that same cross
so
too, bro. It's
one
crazy.
Side playing one side, okay, we're gonna get this guy in, and the other side's going, we're gonna fight him. We're gonna fight this guy, to whatever. So, like, I remember what Gary Wayne was saying. At all times, they have 3 antichrists ready to go all the time. So maybe he was one of them and just didn't make it. So who's the next one's coming in line? These guys are bloodlines. Like, my blood is not. I don't know. Maybe I have I never did one of those DNA tests, but who knows what my blood is? But I know it's not. No, it ain't no pure blood because I'm from Kentucky. Who knows what was going on back then? But I'm just saying, like,
probably some intermingling of cousins, but no, I'm just kidding. No,
the prince now
was getting contacted to join, Jason.
What's up?
We haven't got contacted to join yet, dude.
No, that's why Josh got his thing hacked. Probably they're like, oh man, this guy's talking about some crazy stuff. But the prince of England, or like this, what's his not is it
Prince
Harry?
Philip?
Yeah,
oh,
no, Prince William. Prince William, his wife is his cousin, like his third cousin. Okay, so you're talking like people don't understand this. You're inbreeding. Okay, and after a while,
bro,
look at gonna get short.
Like I said, man. Look into these families. You're going to see like the Bourbon family mixing with the Gotha. And then down here, you're going to see Bourbon and Gotha too. So you're like, grandpa is a Bourbon. And then your grandma was a Goth. Like, whoa, why do they keep on mixing? And then boom, they come down to this prince now of Duke of whatever. It's crazy. But I got some more juicy stuff on Knights of Malta right here. We got, so perversely, after the war, the order's highest decoration, the Grand Cross of Merit, was awarded to Nazi General Reinhard Gehlen, Hitler's Eastern Front intelligence chief, who was highly complicit in the carried out the Nazis in Russia and Eastern Europe, mainly unprecedented slaughter of Jews and civilian slaves. I thought that was interesting. Also, it says the Brotherhood's Catholic aristocrat roots made the modern Knights fervently anti-communist. The order was largely responsible for the construction of the CIA and mainly the global covert operations. The founding fathers of the CIA, William Donovan and Alan Dulles, which I talked about earlier, were Knights and were mainly other CIA hierarchy, including Ronald Reagan's director, William Casey, and JFK's director, John McCone. According to Watergate journalist Carl Bernstein, Casey gave Pope John Paul unprecedented access to CIA intelligence, including spy satellites and agents. Okay. Also, Pope Pius during that time. Right now, the Pope that we have right now,
Pope Francis.
Pope Francis is giving access to that information because people are accusing the Vatican of funding the Nazis. So right now, he said he's going to give them some access to the papers and all this stuff they can go through. Obviously, he probably didn't give them all the access, but they gave them some though, so they can try to prove that wrong.
Well, what was the Pope before that?
Pope, dang dude, my mind is done now, bro.
He was a German. Right, Pope Benedict. But what was his real name?
Benedict. Francis is from.
But he was the head of the Inquisition during the Nazi war. So he was young going up there, and listening to that research on him, he's like, you invite him to Jerusalem or to Israel, and the guy's like, you don't invite the head of the Inquisition to Israel. You don't do that. So this guy is a Pope, German Pope, head of the Inquisition during the Nazi war. Come on, dude. And now Pope Francis is trying, like, hey man, oh no, we didn't do that. He's also a Jesuit. He's a Jesuit as well, right? He's a head.
What are we talking about?
Francis,
Benedict.
Isn't he a black Pope? Wasn't he a black?
He was the black.
Yeah,
he was the Black Pope, and then he also changed the Knights of Hospitaller, the leader of the Knights of Hospitaller, as soon as he got in. So that actually was pretty interesting.
It's kind of like the Malachi prophecy. The Black Pope will be the last Pope, right?
Yep.
And the one before him would have to do with olives, which was Benedict, and he chose Benedict, and it has the olive. He was olive brand.
So yeah, bro, it's all interesting, man. And guys, as we know, man, as we know, these presidents that are coming in, they're all chosen. Okay, guys. So There's not going to be an American president, bro, that's a savior like everybody thought. Like Trump came in, like Trump was the good guy. Like Trump might have been maybe a better evil than some of the other politicians, but he was still evil. Okay. He went to a Jesuit college. All of his kids went to a Jesuit college. You're going to find all these politicians that went to Jesuit colleges or went to Yale or went to here or went to another with secret society there, or they're all involved. You don't allow somebody that's like us to go up and become the top president of the United States, someone that's like Christian, that just wants the best values, that's not involved in any secret society, that's just for the people only. No, this is all for political gain. The only savior that we have is Jesus Christ. Okay. That is it. So when I fell for Trump, some of his stuff too, because I was military, he kind of sold me on it. But guys, the new world order is here. They're moving. The Knights of Malta obviously are part of this agenda. Is there some people in the Knights of Malta that are doing good things? Yes. And for all those people that are doing that, this show is not for you. This show is for the people that were doing the evil, disgusting stuff behind the scenes in secret. I'll tell you right now, these humanitarians and all these princes, if they put all their money together, they can just they could take 10 billion or 50, whatever amount of money that they have, dude, and they can make it so that there's nobody hungry. They can make it so that Africa has sewage systems, so they have water systems, so that they don't have to sit here and just give little chunks of money all the time to these people to feed the poor. They have so much money, dude, in the trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, bro. The people I named off, dude, if you put all their money together, bro, there's trillions, way more than the richest people in the world. I'm telling you right now, if they're true humanitarians and they want to try to help people, don't break it off in little chunks. Oh, I help this country. Oh, I help these people. These people are starving. I help these. Nah, man, you guys are princes, kings, royal bloodlines. You guys have so much money. If you are true humanitarians, you guys would really help the poor. Give me a break. There's homeless people even in Rialto, anywhere you go, LA, New York. There's homeless people all over the place, I was dude.
Homeless at one point in time, and I have no Knights of Malta kick me down.
Yeah. So study, guys, study this stuff. Dig deep.
Wasn't Gary Wayne talking about like Enochian, like magic and stuff like that, like learning these things at learning this stuff like
at an adept level? Yeah, it's all.
But you gotta think about it. Like they're learning this stuff. They're worshiping idols, which are demons, which are and to think that just Christianity and Catholicism and Islam are the only religions that moved on and in life. You're crazy, dude. You're crazy, because obviously they know the secrets on how to manifest whatever they want, how to control a country, how to think Helen collective. How do you say it again?
Hegelian dialect.
Yeah, how to think 12, 30 moves ahead, where it always benefits them. No matter what, if one guy dies, this guy goes in, they put this guy in. Everything always benefits them. It doesn't matter. So where'd they learn this stuff? Where'd they learn this like mind control? Where'd they learn how to, about media and television and how to use people's subconscious?
Well, the prince of the airwaves is Satan, bro. So yes, obviously they learned it from him.
They're changing people's basically views on just regular human life right now. Like you got these blue-haired, weird people that are out there right now that guys that think they're girls that are guys that think they're washing machines now or whatever. They just claim whatever. It's weird to me. It's like, how did you change it so fast? Because back then I didn't even know what the heck what pronouns he, she, they were. And now my son knows this, can flip it to me, and he's 8 years old, 9 years old. You're brainwashing it. You're taking a kid and his mom's a teacher. They support this stuff. Like, oh, it's just progressive. It's just progressive. Okay. Give them their rights, give them their rights. They need to have a voice. They need to have rights. Well, why do they gotta have, you want to do that, that's fine. Go start your own little country and go live there, or go to one of these communism and socialism places where you think it's better. Go live there. Go dye your hair blue and green and purple and get long fingernails and wear dresses and what. That's cool. Do you, boo boo. But don't complain to me when I'm chilling in paradise and you're chilling and you're like, give me a drink of water. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm sorry. You chose your route. You chose it because God's given. choice right now.
Kevin, do you have anything else you want to add about the Knights of Malta at all? I mean, anything like juicy that?
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I try to, guys, I try to do my best. I just,
You did great, Josh.
Once
Yeah,
once
don't
I have,
worry about it, bro.
once I get back on the, when I get back to work right now, I'm on paid family leave. So I get like, you know, I got maybe an hour and a half to study, but when I'm at work, I get like 10 hours to study a day. It's like, I just study. So guys, I think that we kind of went over a lot of stuff. Like I said, if you guys want to dig deep into some of these bloodlines, it gets really interesting. All you got to do is just look up the names that I said. And then right now it's King Philippe the Sixth. That's he's the king of Spain right now. If you look him up and just look up his ancestry, you're going to see the Bourbon family. It just gets so interesting, and it's
how far can you go back though? Do you go by like their coat of arms, stuff like that?
Well, I'm kind of literally just looking up just Wikipedia, and I go to Ancestry and I just look back from what they tell me. And now you can look even deeper in other ways, but I'm just kind of, right now, I'm barely scratching the surface. You could tell on that episode with Gary Wayne that I'm barely scratching the surface because he was kind of schooling me, but I was just trying to, like, you know, that's why I said sorry to his listeners and stuff. And I said, hey, I was kind of finishing his sentence and I was doing stuff like that.
I didn't say a thing, bro. I was just like,
yeah. So, to let everybody know, Gary Wayne will be back on May 8th, and to come on and crush it again. And we're going to talk about some good stuff. So
we're not worthy.
Yeah, guys. Kevin, any ending words? I think we did about an hour and a half.
I think, you know, there's so many dates, there's so much info. I mean, even just tonight, you know, I know you had gone over a lot of the stuff, Josh, but yeah, with your listeners, just start researching the families, the bloodlines. Like I said, it's just, sometimes it's hard, you know, to go and try to follow all these dates and, you know, names and everything else, but there is a lot of cool history, and, you know, there's a lot of good info of, you know, what's falling into really into the end times, which I feel like are a big part of these secret societies.
For sure. They're
if you think about it, they brought the days of Noah back then. They brought these type of people brought that on.
Yep.
You know, they brought that judgment on us. So what do you think they're doing now? They're doing the same thing. They're bringing it right back into the days of Noah, trying to bring this, like you said, new world order, the new world order, the great reset. They talk. They have their little the Bilderberg meetings and stuff like that. You could probably trace these people back, because look, I read the Bible, and if you read Luke, Matthew, you know, they have the genealogies from Adam to Jesus Christ. They have, you know what I'm saying? They even have that stuff. So yeah. I'm pretty sure there's somewhere you can go and look it up and go to.
Well, yeah, like the Rothschilds have it all the way back. You know, they have it all. They say that all the way back. I mean, some people said all the way back to Nimrod,
to Nimrod.
Yeah,
yes. And honestly, so think about that. How that is right there is because the Bible, guys. Each castle, like each king, they would do that because they have to make sure that I want to marry, you know, the Bourbon family with the whatever, you know, Orsini with the Colonna with this and that. They have to make sure they stay within that to keep that noble bloodline happening. So they all had knowledge of who was marrying who, setting up people to marry a person, like just like where you're talking about the Queen, you know, and Prince Philip. They were cousins. So they ended up marrying each other, but they were cousins, and they came from a German bloodline. They weren't even Britain or Europe. I mean, they were European, but it was German. Then they ended up changing it to Windsor. Where was Princess Diana from?
Princess Diana actually came from. Okay, so here's the thing. She came. Her dad was actually the guy that would carry the stool around, and then it's called. And now that's her dad, right? He was like
Groom of the Stool, right?
Groom of the Stool, but. Here's the thing. They say that her mom hooked up with a goldsmith, which is like a Jewish, like big banker name, and had some big lineage, and then had her. They said there was an affair there, but that, you know, wasn't proven. But that's probably why they chose her, because if she was a goldsmith, they were okay with that, because the lady that's married to Prince William is a goldsmith. her mom is a goldsmith, so they were probably okay with Princess Diana coming in and marrying in because of that affair that happened. Now, I'm not 1,000% on that, but I did a whole episode on them, and it was just very interesting. But
what about Harry, that redhead dude? What is he like? Like he looks like the tennis coach's son. He doesn't even he looks like you think like how fast she kicked him out of the house when he married
there might have been something there, which I'm not going to say because I'm not 100%, where something like that happened. That's why they probably let him go, because
what about the brother too?
He might have
caught up on that island.
Prince Andrew. So that's the Duke of York, man. That's the York Rite Freemasons, the top of that.
He's Knight of Malta, isn't he?
He's not a Knight of Malta, no, and they won't even let him be, probably because he's so now he might have been. He might have been a Knight of Malta, but I cannot trace it to him saying he is. So I can't confirm it. So I'm not going to say it. But Prince Philip was a Knight of Malta for sure, 100%. Queen Elizabeth, Knight of Malta, 100%. And if you just start going through it, it's going to be mind-boggling for you guys. So we're going to end the episode, though, guys. I think it was interesting. Sorry that I talked so much. It's just that there's so much info to go through that we only had an hour and a half to go through, that it's hard to touch on everything. You know,
I say research, start in the Bible, research like you said, Nimrod, and go on from there. Start reading about how they started the whole. They weren't that strong of a place, but their science is still here today. That's why we still have 360 degrees.
7 sciences.
Yeah, they were doing things that who knows what they were doing.
Yeah.
Okay, and these guys and it was even Abraham was the Chaldean. Okay, he was the first Jew that came out of there. He was chosen. He was an idol worshiper first, but he got out of there and he, you know, he obviously probably knew something too. This stuff goes deep, dude.
Just like Gary Wayne says, it goes all the way back to Genesis 6. So, guys, study Gary Wayne's book. It's a great thing to go for Christian and conspiracy. He's going to be, like I say, he's going to be back on. Thank you guys for listening. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Okay, please, guys, we really appreciate it. We like to end this in prayer. So, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we know that there's a lot of dark arts, a lot of dark stuff going on in the background of America, of Europe, these Black nobility families. We know that we're trying to bring it to the light. We're trying to expose the evil for people to understand what's really going on in this world, so that they can be prepared for when the end times come and not get caught off guard. Lord, I just pray in Jesus' name that you please put your healing hand on anybody that's going through any type of struggle right now that needs the armor of God put on them. Please place it on them now. Give them the chest plate of righteousness. You know, please give them the double-edged sword. Give them the word of God to use against Satan. I just pray that you help anybody that's going through any troubles right now. I feel like maybe that you're putting that on my heart. Someone might be going through some struggles. Lord, thank you so much for giving us another breath. I pray for my roommate. Her husband just passed away. I pray for her. I'm not going to say her name, but I pray for her. Lord, please put your healing hand on her. It's very tough right now. Thanks for giving us our babies that me and Jason have and Kevin has. I pray for Kevin's family. I pray that at some point we get together and we all just have a barbecue and enjoy ourselves. I pray and say, Lord, thank you so much for each day, for each breath that you give us. Thank you for anybody that's listening to this podcast. Please, Lord, like I said, if anybody has any issues right now, please help them fix it. Put your healing hand on them. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Amen. Thank you guys, man. Kevin, thank you, man. And like I said, sorry I hogged the mic, guys.
No worries.
There's a lot going on. Kevin, we'll have you back on, dude. Just tell us what subject you want to go over and then we'll crush it.
Sounds good, guys.
God bless you. Do you want to say anything? You guys. Anything you guys want to say before I get off? Or are we good?
You talk too much.
It was good. I'm glad I was able to come on. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, brother. Love you, bro.